What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we are bringing you our weekly series, 3 Up and 3 Down for the MLB season. Now, if you haven't been watching and knowing what this is, we're looking at 3 teams that are playing well, 3 teams that aren't, and 1 team to be on the lookout for. So we're going to get into it. The first up. Now, that first up this week is the Texas Rangers with an overall record of 12-6. This team has been playing absolutely phenomenally well. Right now, at the time of this recording, they are 8-2 over their last 10 games, plus 43 in the run differential column, and riding a 4-game winning streak, including wins over their division rival, the Houston Astros. So very much a good start for the Texas Rangers. They completely rebuilt and revamped their team with the pitching staff this offseason, obviously most notably by bringing in Jacob deGrom, but they also brought in Nady Eovaldi, Andrew Heaney. So this was a very strong offseason to follow up in conjunction with the last offseason where they brought in Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. So the Rangers are looking to do big things this year, and they're off to a very good start. Now, the first down is the Oakland A's. So a team in the same division but going in the complete opposite direction. They are in a position right now, the Oakland A's are, where things are not looking well. They're not going well. They're 1-9 over their last 10 games, negative 86 in the run differential column, riding a 7-game losing streak, and they're leaving Oakland. Yes, it was announced a couple days ago that the A's are going to be departing Oakland. They're heading to Vegas. They have an agreement there. We did an entire video about it here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast, so definitely check it out. I'll leave links to it down in the show notes below. But it's a very sad day if you're a fan of the Oakland Athletics. I think that there's going to be a lot of backlash when it comes to fan attendance. It already was at its worst, but in my mind, it's only going to get worse. So it's a very, very tough season for the Oakland A's. They're 3-16 overall, and doesn't seem like they're going to be winning very much going into this season. Now, as we look at the second up is the Atlanta Braves, 14-6 right now at the time of this recording, and over their last 10 games, they're also 8-2, plus 32 in the run differential column, and have a 737 winning percentage. Now, obviously, it's going to be extremely difficult to play over 730 winning percentage baseball for an entire 162-game campaign. But the Braves are built differently. This is a team that has seemingly been able to swap out those players that don't want to be there, or players that they find to be as equivalent. In the case of Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson. And I think that for Atlanta, they've done things in the right way. Alex Anthopoulos, as we've said before on this channel, to me is the best GM in baseball right now. Being able to lock up his core for such a long period of time for relatively inexpensive contracts compared to what some of the other deals that are out there are. So very good start for the Atlanta Braves. I think it's going to be a tough battle for them all season, because I don't think that this division is going to be just handed to them. But there's a lot of opportunity here for the Braves to try to jump out to a very early lead with, the Mets and the Phillies kind of a little bit behind them. The Mets are only a game and a half behind them at the time of this recording. So it is something that Atlanta's going to want to put some distance between them. Now, as we look at the second down, it's a team struggling just as much as the Oakland A's, and it's the Kansas City Royals. They're 4-15 overall, and over their last 10 games, they're 1-9, negative 51 in the run differential column, riding their own 6-game losing streak. And the one good thing for the Kansas City Royals is they're not planning to leave Kansas City, at least anytime soon. And there's an opportunity for this team because there are some pieces to really like about this squad. Bobby Witt Jr. to me is going to be an absolute superstar in Major League Baseball. And I think that there's going to be an opportunity where at some point this season, they're going to get themselves on a run, start gaining some confidence, some momentum, and really put themselves in a much better position than what we've seen them be so far this season. It is still early, and they do have the kind of veteran leadership on that team that would be necessary to kind of help them dig out of this funk. But for right now, they find themselves as one of the downs. Now, as we look at the third up, it is the Baltimore Orioles. Yes, they are 11-7 overall, riding a very nice plus 12 in the run differential column. Over the last 10 games for Baltimore, they are 7-3. So this is a team that is riding a 3-game win streak as well. So no doubt about it, the Baltimore Orioles were looked at as a team that was going to be just trying to play a little bit better than 500 as they did a season ago. But to me, I think that there's something more about this team having a full season of Adley Rutschman, bringing up Gunnar Henderson. The infusion of youth for the Baltimore Orioles, to me, was going to make a big difference. Their pitching staff needs a ton of work, no doubt about it. There needs to be almost a complete overhaul, in my opinion, of that pitching staff. But if they can add just a couple more pieces to that pitching staff, to me, this team is capable of really surprising some people and making a push towards the postseason. As we look at the third down, it is a team that I believe is going to be on this list quite a bit this year, the Colorado Rockies. Overall, they're 6-14, 2-10, 2-8 over their last 10 games, and are -46 in the run differential column. To me, the Rockies are one of the most confusing teams, along with the Red Sox, are one of the most confusing teams in baseball right now. They have made a ton of just questionable decisions. Starting with the extension they gave to Nolan Arenado, and before the ink was even dry on the contract, they were trying to move him. Then you go out and give Chris Bryant this huge exorbitant deal, and you have nothing around him, really. You know, you don't have the foundational pieces on their way up to really be able to push towards anything. You're in a division that is very difficult to win, and while you have the pieces to be able to start putting the foundation together, it doesn't seem as if those pieces are really coming together. CJ Cron is a solid player. Brendan Rodgers, Ryan McMahon, to go along with Chris Bryant. But it just doesn't seem like anything is truly sticking in the positive note for the Colorado Rockies. And that's why they find themselves as one of the downs. And lastly, a team that we're paying attention to, a team to be on the lookout for, and that Bolo team is the Pittsburgh Pirates. 13-7 overall. This is a team that is plus 20 in the run differential column, 7-3 over their last 10 games. I mean, when you look at it, right now, the Pittsburgh Pirates are only a game and a half out of the division lead in the National League Central Division. So no doubt about it, there's an opportunity for this team to kind of surprise some people. Do I think that they're going to be there long term for the whole season? No, not necessarily. But the veterans that they brought in are bringing a winning pedigree with them. And I think that that's instilling some of these younger players with some confidence. I also think that with these older players, the rule changes were going to affect them in a very big way. We know that for G-Man Choi and Carlos Santana, most notably, are some of the players that were highlighted as players that were likely going to have a very different outcome with these rule changes regarding the shifts. And I think that there's an opportunity that Pittsburgh can really surprise some people, maybe get themselves into a push towards the third wild card spot in the National League. Maybe get themselves into a position where they finish over 500, similar to how the Orioles were in 2022. Got over 500. We're really there towards the end of the wild card hunt, all the way into September. So I think a push like that for the Pittsburgh Pirates could really put them in a very nice spot. But I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comment section below your 3 up and 3 down for this week number 4 in Major League Baseball. It's an absolutely wonderful sport if you haven't already been able to tell by this channel. I absolutely love the world of Major League Baseball, and for me, this countdown each and every week really allows me a time to recap and see what's been going on with the league. I watch a ton of games, so sometimes I tend to forget. They all kind of start to run together after a while. But when we sit down and put this list together, both in article form on laracuenteledger.com and obviously here in video form on YouTube or even on the podcast, the Baseball Banter Broadcast podcast on all your favorite podcast listening platforms, there's no doubt about it. Putting this list together every week really allows you to kind of recap what's been going on throughout the last several days of Major League Baseball. So definitely let me know your thoughts, your feelings down in the comment section below. You can find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball. You can find our other social media outlets, TikTok and Instagram, at Baseball Banter Broadcast. Again, there's a corresponding article on this countdown, this list on laracuenteledger.com if you want to check that out. We have new articles that post daily, mostly covering the world of Major League Baseball, so definitely head over there to check that out. And if you want to show some support for the channel, we have our merchandise shop, baseballbanterbroadcast.com, in which we have a ton of promo codes you can use to save on repping the channel. And of course, if you're here on this YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell for post notifications. Most of our audience isn't subscribed, and we're continuing to try to build this baseball community. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast listening platform, then leave a 5-star rating review, as it does help us continue to grow and push up the algorithm to be able to reach a much bigger community, a much bigger audience for the baseball fan base. So definitely thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next broadcast when we banter about baseball. Peace.